Remarks, get set, go. You are looking at the Nasdaq on a Monday, May 20th. Thank you for tuning in. This is a daily chart of the Nasdaq. We're getting ready to go on a power trend here as the Nasdaq finished 109 points higher today. It advanced with 0.65%, 32% above the 50-day average of volume. And I'm not going to get into it like I did last week. There's just a lot of junky stocks trading a lot of volume. That's all. And penny or dollar stocks, trading billions of shares is skewing that data, but I'm not going to get into it. I don't really care. We just, I'm going to pick out a bunch of leading stocks. There's so many groups doing well, and this rally is spread out. I can't get to them all. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to focus on, some areas of strength, but I'm certainly not going to touch on all of them. Anyway, back to the Nasdaq today. Started a power trend because this magenta line has been above the red line for 5 days, and we had an update today. And the low of the session has been above the 21 for about 12 sessions now. The Nasdaq closed at an all-time high, traded at an all-time high, and there's nothing more bullish than all-time highs. So it's all good on the Nasdaq. I'm kind of going over, Nasdaq stocks, and I will get to the shippers and the miners and the oil and gas, but I'm going to leave out a bunch of like the financials that are doing well. Jamie Dimon was at an investor day today. Well, since I'm mentioning, I might as well go there now. And he said might retire or something. He's very negative on the call, and just a big downer today. And so the stock that was set up now pulled back to its 21, which is not the end of the world. It's just he was really negative and cautiously pessimistic, which is not something we want to hear. Anyway, let's go to some stocks that are performing better. This is Apple. They had a price reduction in their iPhone in China, and the stock still trades higher. So it just wants higher prices, regardless of good news or bad news, whatever. Apple looks good to me. Microsoft, just going through these large cap technology stocks, which drive the Nasdaq. It was up 1.2% today, and just consolidating in a base. That one looks fine as well. Meta Platforms sold off following its most recent earnings report. Is just consolidating in that base there. You can see Pattern Rec is picking that up, and Amazon, same thing, just consolidating in a base here. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it's got earnings behind it, and retail seems to be pretty strong. It's web services doing fantastic. So what was the other one I was going to show you? Oh, the one on our one on our Reddit is Google. I think this one just looks fantastic. Traded at an all-time high today too. So like I say, all-time highs are great. So they usually lead to more highs, right? Yeah, yeah. You can just see Google over time. It's just been a monster of a stock, just a beast, the king of the internet content. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We want to get to Nvidia. They report on Wednesday. People are really clamoring for this move in Nvidia. It's going to move roughly, the options market has about a 90-point move, one way or the other. So I don't know, maybe it'll go to 850, maybe it'll go to 1,050. You just got to wait and see. Maybe it'll just be, since everybody's expecting such a strong response, maybe it'll just be muted and continue to trade in this base here. So just got to wait and see. But Nvidia's, monster stock, and just a large liquid leading stock. So I got to get to some of the other names in the semiconductor group. So Qualcomm, this is one we had on our ready list. I don't know, was it 2 weeks ago or last week? But anyway, it had this double bottom pattern and broke out, gapped higher with earnings, and just continues to trade higher. It did, trade up to 199.99 and then pull back today. So Qualcomm looks fantastic. Another one is AMD, which is looking better. It's pretty easy to see it's finding resistance here at that downtrending 50. So it's got a lot of work to do, but it is looking better. SMCI had a wild day today. If you follow this stock at all, it's a pretty wild stock, but you can see in the morning it ramped up. I think it was up like I don't know, it was up like 30 bucks, and then it traded down. It was up down like 20 bucks, and then just kind of traded, up a little bit on the session. I think it was up, yeah, nearly 2%. So that's a good day, but it's still trading below its 50. So it's having a hard time there, and this is a volatile stock. There you can see the low was 870, the high was 925. So a $55 daily range. So it's tightening up. Anyway, another one in the data center area is Vertiv. This one keeps bumping its head up against that 100. It passed. It blew right past it last week on May 15th, which was Monday, I think. No, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And then it sold off below it, traded down to its moving average here, found support, and today it popped above it again at 101.30. So I would expect that as these moving averages continue to rise higher, this stock will blow past 100 eventually. Just got to give it some time. Dell has been on a tear, and every runner needs a breather, and I think it's just probably going to rest there around the 145, 150 level. That closed with an inverted hammer candle today, but that's not the end of the world. You got to expect some profit taking on a move from 114 to 154. Yeah, you got to expect some profit taking with a $40 move like that. So Dell, some people, at MC Stock Charts told me that they'd kind of scaled out of that one because they recognize, that's a big move and it's time to move on to other stocks. Speaking of other stocks, I got to get to the shippers first. I'm going to go to the shipping stocks. This is GOGL, transportation shipping. You can see the industry group is top 5. This one broke out of a base and it's just, romping higher. This thing is on a tear. You got to ignore the earnings lines on these things and just go by stock price. And these things want higher prices. Zim is another one. Look at that earnings line just diving, but the stock is trading higher. You can see it broke out of a base here and just wants higher prices. Kind of forming a little shelf here after that big move from, what was it, 975? Yeah, it's a $19. That's a big move. So more than 100% in a short period of time. And then the appropriate ticker symbol for this transportation shipping group is SHIP. Yeah, SHIP. What the heck? That's a great ticker symbol for this this industry group. And you can see this is just coming out of a stage 1 base here. So just emerging from a stage 1 base. I bet you this one, yeah, it had it had prices over $1,000. Now it's just a little blip on the radar here. That's the way these shipping stocks trade. They're pretty wild. Anyway, I'm going to get out of the shippers and go to the miners. And this is like shooting fish in a barrel. It doesn't matter if it's copper or gold or silver or uranium. These things are all just trading higher. This is a Southern Copper. This is one I like, and I call it the leader in the group. But there's just a lot of them that are performing well. But it's a copper play. Alcoa, another mining stock, aluminum making new highs. CCJ's uranium play, making new highs. Ego was a gold stock that we had, making new highs. PAAS, a silver play, GATO, silver. I mean, I could do this all day. These are ridiculous moves here. And some of these miners, it doesn't even matter. Like I say, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Just pick out a ticker and it's going to go higher. It's a ridiculous move here. And this is probably one of the strongest sectors right here. Now it's rated 4 by Market Surge, but there's just a lot of stocks in these groups that are trading higher. Anyway, I'm going to move on to oil and gas because they're doing well also. FTI, Technip, oil and gas equipment, just forming a little flat base here. I know Pattern Rec's not picking it up, but it's more than 5 weeks and it's traded very tightly within that time frame. So, another one in that group, the equipment group is Weatherford. Another one just kind of forming a shelf here, trading along with its moving averages, and looks pretty darn good. Some other stocks, AROC. This is not. Wait a minute, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, they had their dividend. That's right, they had their dividend. They went ex-dividend last week or the week before. So sometimes that'll hold the stock down if they pay pretty hefty dividend, but this one broke out nicely today and looks pretty good. Another one of those equipment stocks. AR is this is an exploration, oil and gas exploration, obviously broke out and just trending higher with its moving averages. That one looks fantastic. LBRT, Liberty Energy. I know I'm going through these fast today because I have a lot to cover, but yeah, if you could just write the ticker symbols down if you're interested in oil and gas. My favorite in the oil and gas group is Tidewater. It's just a steady Eddie, and it's shown consistent, sales, 32, 56, 62, 66. I'm a sucker for that, fundamentals. I play the technicals, but I'm at heart a fundamental guy. I like to have some earnings with my stocks. And anyway, I'm just, okay, RRC, another one that's broke out today. Nice move here, nearly 3% with some volume. So that one looks good. And then some of the transportation stocks. This is Scorpion Tankers, the oil and gas transportation pipeline group. This thing has been up like every day for like the past 2 weeks. Just super strong stocks. TRMD broke out last week, forming a little shelf here. Looks pretty good. Made a new high today. TNK, another one that made made a new high last week. Broke out of a base here. This is a gap of 9%. Traded higher, then pulled back the last couple of sessions, but that group looks pretty darn good. All right, I'm going to move into the software names. Wix reported earnings today. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it's a pretty good report. But like I say, you always got to look for the response, and this had a great response, 23% move with massive volume. That is not a move not to be ignored. You could see within the base here how it, all the sellers come in, take profits, get out, and it kind of forms a little bottom and retest the bottom. Starts to make a move up, then kind of goes sideways for a couple sessions, right ahead of earnings, and then blast higher. So, yeah, you could see the blue dot as the RS line as goes plows through those moving averages. Wix looks fantastic, not to be ignored. CrowdStrike is another one in the software group, kind of a leader in the security names. Palo Alto reported after the bell today, and I don't know if that's going to have much of an impact on CrowdStrike tomorrow. I'm going to get to that a little later. What was the other one? Oh, NTNX. This is one that was on our ready list last week, and it's pushing away from its base, so I took it off this week because I don't like chasing stocks. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do, but it's paying off as it pushes away from its base. Up 2.66% today, looking fantastic. And another one that, this is why we don't ignore these gaps higher. This is ZETA, and it just wants higher prices. Like I said, the analysts might have got this one wrong and thought it was going to earn, 10 cents or 20 cents, and it's going to earn 50 cents. So now, they got to pay up and reconfigure their models and upgrade the stock. And you can see this group is, strong group as well. So anyway, that's it for the software. I want to get out of the software. I did the mega cap tech, the semiconductors, the data centers, the computer data storage plays, the shippers, the miners, the oil and gas transportation, exploration, equipment, software, and now I've got to go to my favorites, the retail group. Now, I know a lot of people give me a hard time at A&F, and I traded out of this one because it sliced its 50, and I never did buy it back. I just figured to let it consolidate in a base. I want to wait for earnings on May 29th, but it certainly does look pretty good there at 140.28 as a standard buy point. And those who were saying that this one was dead is, it's proven them wrong so far, but we got to wait till earnings, which is on May 29th. Anyway, I'm going to move on from Abercrombie and Fitch and go to the retail restaurant groups. These ones, I think I mentioned this over the weekend video about how it, gapped higher and then formed this little pennant pattern, which is very healthy, just trading tight. And now today popped, 6.5%. That's a nice move for sweet greens. And that's why I say you pay attention to these earnings gaps. It's done this before, right? And then pull back to the 50 before this earnings. Now it gaps up Sweet Greens is a, you know, phenomenal stock. Speaking of retail restaurants, the CAVA group, you know, just really, if you look at the weekly, just kind of like a breakout from an IPO base and, you know, pull back to its moving average one time, and just wants higher prices. And I don't eat out a whole lot, and I've never been to either one of those places, but the stock looks great. Elf, I got to mention this in retail because um, pretty interesting. It got an upgrade and a downgrade today, but it seemed like the downgrade was more powerful. And all it did really was come and test this old lows, which I like. And I took a little nibble out of Elf today because I think that I don't want to argue with the market, and I rarely buy anything below its 50 and downtrending. But I have a feeling, you know, they're going to prove the market wrong here, and I could be totally wrong. But the low of 150.49, you know, retesting these old lows here, 153.72. So it seemed like an overreaction. Bought it small. I could get burned, you know, it won't be the first time or the last. But I just think Alpha's doing it sold off with the Ulta Beauty when that Ulta Beauty lowered guidance. And I just don't think that business model pertains to Elf. And I think they're still doing really well with, you know, the teens like Abercrombie and Fitch, you know, are doing well with teens and Crocs, you know, these are, you know, trends that you know, younger consumers are buying these products. I just don't think it's going to end in one quarter, but I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong, and they could guide it lower. Crocs is one that I like because it's set up in this base. It made the right side of its base here really quickly. You can see it traded below the 50 for a while, popped up, you know, and so the right side of the base ran really quickly. So now it's pulling back. So we get some profit taking, we get some sellers, we get some people who don't want to own the stock at this level, and it pulls back to the 10. I think that's healthy. You can see the lighter volume, which I'm not a big volume guy, but I think at some point it'll catch a bid here and break through that 146.79. I'm not saying when, but I think it will in time. Anyway, that's it for the retail for today. I've got to get to the drug stocks because this stock had an approval today of forget now. I read too much stuff today. Anyway, it's a breakout from a base, up 28% with volume. So that's a move not to be ignored for Dyne Therapeutics. Yeah, write that ticker down. And there's a lot of them. I had like over 55 last week that I had to pare down for my weekend video just to watch because, you know, these moves like this typically lead to higher moves. And HIMS is another one breaking out of a base here on you know, volume today. With they said they're getting into the GLP-1 for $200 a month. You know, I have friends that do Ozempic for $150 a month. So I don't know, you know, if that's such a great deal. And I don't know where they're getting the GLP-1 drugs, but it's certainly not approved by the FDA. You have to go through FDA approval. So I don't know. It's some sort of compound that doesn't need approval. So I'm sure there's higher risk of like nausea and stuff. But you know, they just throw that out there, just like any tech company saying they're in AI. Um, you know, it's going to move the stock. They say they're going to have GLP-1 shots. I don't know about supply or any of the logistics about it, but all I know is that's a move not to be ignored in HIMS. And then Novo, of course, is you know, the Ozempic Wegovy stock. This thing looks like it's just, you know, forming a base here, biding its time, just marking time. It's not in a hurry. Forming the right side of the base. You know, I like it. You know, anywhere in here, I had it on my red list, and last week it popped up on that Monday, I believe. Yeah, 4%. It's just kind of gone sideways since, allowing the moving averages to catch up. So that had a good day today. Lilly, same thing, just consolidating within a base. These two have not broken out yet. They pretty much trade in tandem, and when they move pretty good, and they move together. Anyway, last but not least, the leisure services. This is an IPO, Viking Holdings. Don't know a lot about it, but I do know it made a big move, you know, out of this little IPO pennant action. And the other one was RCL, you know, Royal Caribbean. Just made an all-time high today. I shouldn't say all-time. Yes, yeah, I guess it is an all-time high. But yeah, 52-week high is a term I should use. But it made a new high and then kind of pulled back and closed near the middle of its daily range. So yeah, this one very strong, relative strength there. You can see heading due north, and the Royal Caribbean looks fantastic. Anyway, that's it for me today. There's a lot of stuff, a lot going on. It's going to be a busy week. Everybody's looking forward to Nvidia earnings, and that's it for me. Thank you for watching. So far, I lied. I have one more thing. I did go through a little bit of the Palo Alto Network's earnings report. It was just kind of in line, which I don't know. I guess they were expecting more, but they kind of did what they said they were going to do. A little bit of a beat on the revenues, a little bit of beat on the earnings. The guidance was right in line. It's a well-managed company. I think a pullback here. What is it? 297. So the 50's at 288. I don't know. We'll just see where it pulls back tomorrow. Probably, I don't know, around the 300 level, I would imagine. It wasn't a bad report, and sometimes the first reaction in the after hours is not the right one or the correct one, or the end result, the direction. Got to listen to the conference call and see what the CEO has to say, though. They're in transition with their accounting, and maybe Wall Street expected more than what they provided. Anyway, I'll have more in the morning. This report, because Palo Alto is 104 billion market cap, it will have an impact on stocks like Zscaler, which is down after hours, and Fortinet, which is in the cybersecurity group, which is down after hours, and Gen Digital, it doesn't move after hours. I don't think it'll affect Crowd much, because Crowd's going to report June 4th, and just wait see what they have to say. I think Crowd will eventually overtake Palo Alto as the largest market cap. It's 84 billion, so it's 20 billion behind. But if Palo Alto comes in a little bit and CrowdStrike rallies, which I believe it will do, CrowdStrike could be the big kahuna. Anyway, this time for real. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. On Monday, May 20th, I'll be back tomorrow morning, have some stocks on our ready list that are performing well. I didn't get to all of them. I don't want to give everything away on YouTube. So if you join mcstockcharts.com, we had some stocks that are doing really, really well and set up in bases here. So anyway, once again, thank you for watching. We never give up.